You strap on your walking shoes every single morning. You spend 30 minutes pacing around your neighborhood, doing exactly what your doctor told you to do to protect your heart. But when you sit down on the kitchen table a few hours later and slide your arm into the blood pressure cuff, the numbers are still stubbornly, terrifyingly high. A deep sense of frustration sets in. You are putting in the physical work, you are sweating, you are doing your cardio, but your vascular system refuses to cooperate. Here is the biological reality that the standard 15-minute medical checkup completely glosses over. Walking and aerobic cardio are absolutely fantastic for strengthening your heart muscle, but they are often not enough to change the microscopic, structural stiffness of an aging blood vessel. To permanently lower your blood pressure, you don't just need a strong heart. You need wide, flexible, relaxed arteries. Today, we are going to dive deep into 3 highly specific, scientifically validated blood pressure exercises that your doctor likely never mentioned. These are not aerobic exercises. They do not require a treadmill. They will not leave you out of breath, and you can do them right in your living room. We are going to decode the exact cardiovascular biomechanics of how these 3 unique movements physically force your arteries to dilate and drop your pressure naturally. Exercise 1. Isometric handgrip training. For decades, the medical community warned patients with high blood pressure to avoid gripping heavy objects or tensing their muscles, fearing it would cause a dangerous pressure spike. But recent, groundbreaking clinical trials have completely flipped this narrative, proving that a specific type of tension, known as isometric exercise, is actually the single most effective physical intervention for lowering resting blood pressure. Isometric means you are creating intense muscular tension without actually moving the joint. The gold standard of this is isometric handgrip training. To understand why this works, you have to look at the inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. The endothelium is a manufacturing plant for nitric oxide, the miracle gas that forces your arteries to widen and relax. As we age, that manufacturing plant goes to sleep. To wake it up, you need a rolled-up hand towel or an inexpensive foam hand gripper. Sit comfortably in a chair. Hold the towel in your right hand and squeeze it, but only at about 30% of your maximum strength. It should feel like a firm, sustained handshake. You must hold that unbroken squeeze for exactly 2 minutes. During those 2 minutes, you are physically clamping down on the blood vessels in your forearm. The muscle tissue rapidly burns through its local oxygen, creating a state of localized hypoxia. The tissue quietly panics, starving for blood. The biological magic happens the exact second you let go. When you release the towel after 2 minutes, the physical clamp is removed. A massive, high-velocity tidal wave of blood violently surges back into your arm. This high-velocity rush physically rubs against the inner walls of your arteries, creating what is known as shear stress. That mechanical friction shocks the lazy endothelial cells back to life, commanding them to dump a massive dose of nitric oxide directly into your bloodstream. You rest for 1 minute, switch hands, and repeat the 2-minute squeeze. 4 total squeezes, 2 on each hand, takes exactly 12 minutes. You are essentially using the muscles in your forearm as a manual pump to manufacture your own natural blood pressure medicine. Exercise 2. The isometric wall sit. If the hand grip utilizes the small blood vessels in your arms to create a nitric oxide dump, the isometric wall sit leverages the absolute largest, most blood-hungry muscle groups in the human body, your quadriceps and your glutes. Recent sports medicine analyses have shown that wall sits are actually superior to running and cycling for long-term blood pressure reduction, but very few seniors are taught how to perform them safely. Here is the biomechanical breakdown. Find a sturdy, blank wall in your house. Lean your back flat against it. Step your feet out about 2 feet in front of you, and slowly slide your back down the wall. You do not need to drop into a deep, 90-degree Olympic squat. For an aging knee, sliding down just a few inches until you feel the muscles in the front of your thighs begin to bend and engage is absolutely perfect. Hold that static, motionless posture for 2 minutes. While you are holding that posture, those massive leg muscles are under continuous, unbroken tension. Just like the forearm and the hand grip, The blood vessels inside your thighs are squeezed tight. The pressure builds. But because the muscle group is so incredibly large, the systemic biological response when you finally stand up and release the tension is exponentially greater. When you break the wall sit, the massive vascular networks in your lower body throw their floodgates open. The sudden rush of blood to your legs creates a profound, systemic drop in resistance across your entire cardiovascular system. Perform a 2-minute wall sit, rest for 2 minutes, and repeat this cycle 4 times. The most critical safety rule here is your breathing. Do not hold your breath while you are against the wall. Holding your breath triggers the Valsalva maneuver, which traps pressure in your chest and temporarily spikes your blood pressure to dangerous levels. You must consciously take slow, deep belly breaths the entire time your legs are engaged. Exercise 3. The seated Soleus pump. The third exercise addresses the pure physics of your circulatory system. Your heart is fighting a relentless, 24-hour battle against gravity to pull blood up from your feet. If the blood pools in your lower legs, your heart has to pump violently harder to maintain circulation, which artificially drives your systemic blood pressure up. To drop the pressure, you have to help the heart lift the blood. You do this by activating the second heart of the human body, the soleus muscle. The soleus is a deeply hidden muscle located underneath your large calf muscle. It is unique in human biology because it runs on a different metabolic pathway than almost every other muscle. It is designed to pump continuously for hours without ever fatiguing. Clinical researchers recently discovered you can massively isolate this muscle while sitting entirely still in a chair. Sit at your kitchen table with your knees bent at a 90-degree angle and your feet flat on the floor. Without lifting the balls of your feet or your toes, push your heels as high up into the air as they will go. Hold that peak contraction for a split second, and then let your heels drop completely dead back to the floor. The relaxation is just as important as the push, because that is when the soleus vein refills with blood. Wait 1 second, and push the heels back up. You can perform this seated soleus pump for 20, 30, or even 40 minutes while watching television or reading a book. You are manually engaging the most powerful venous pump in your lower body. The physical contraction violently wrings out the deep veins, creating a massive suction effect that fires the pooled blood back up to your chest. When the heart senses this sudden, effortless return of blood volume, it sends an immediate signal to your brainstem that the physical workload has decreased. Your central nervous system responds by dialing back your sympathetic drive. Your arteries dilate, and your blood pressure plummets, because the physical struggle against gravity has been temporarily shut off. The biological blueprint. Your blood pressure is not a static, mysterious number. It is a deeply mechanical response to the flexibility of your arteries and the efficiency of your pumps. Walking and standard cardio are incredibly important, but they rely on raising your heart rate. These 3 exercises, the isometric handgrip, the wall sit, and the seated soleus pump, operate on an entirely different biological pathway. They use strategic, localized tension to manipulate the chemistry of your blood vessels without stressing your heart muscle. You do not need to do all 3 of these every single day. Pick one to add to your daily routine. Squeeze the towel while you listen to the morning news. Do a shallow wall sit before you take your shower. Pump your soleus muscle while you eat your breakfast. This information is rooted in advanced clinical biomechanics and sports medicine cardiology. It is strictly for educational purposes and is never a replacement for the personalized care of your physician. Do not ever stop taking your prescribed blood pressure medications without speaking directly to your doctor. Instead, integrate these mechanical tools into your life. Force your endothelium to wake up, flush your system with natural nitric oxide, and help your heart do its heavy lifting. Take exceptional care of your vascular engine, and I will see you in the next video of Senior Health Wisdom.